awakening. The alarm screamed through the Galactic Council chamber. Ambassador Thelvan, a tall insectoid diplomat from the Zephyr Empire, jumped from his seat. His four eyes widened in shock. Something was wrong. Very wrong. What is happening? He shouted over the noise. A young technician ran into the room, her scales turning pale with fear. Ambassador, we detected something at the edge of space, something impossible. Thelvan rushed to the main screen. Other council members gathered around him. Representatives from 20 different alien species stood silent, watching the display. The screen showed the dark border of known space. Beyond that, nothing existed. No stars, no planets, just endless darkness. But now, something was moving in that darkness. Enhance the image, Thelvan ordered. The screen zoomed in. Everyone gasped. Massive shapes emerged from the void. Ships, hundreds of them. They were enormous, bigger than anything the Council had ever built. The hulls were dark and covered in strange markings. Battle scars ran across their surfaces. These ships had seen war. Terrible war. Where did they come from? Asked Commander Zix, a reptilian warrior from the Draken systems. From the dark expanse, the technician whispered. No one goes there. No one comes back. Thelvan felt his blood run cold. The dark expanse was forbidden space. Ships that entered never returned. The Council had marked it as a death zone centuries ago. Are they hostile? Someone asked. We don't know. They're not responding to our signals. Suddenly, the main communication system crackled to life. Static filled the chamber. Then through the noise a voice spoke. It was deep, tired, and spoke in a language no one had heard in a very long time. This is Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen, Earth Defense Force. We're coming home. The chamber fell silent. Completely silent. Did she say Earth? Thelvan whispered. The technician's hands shook as she typed on her console. Sir, I'm running the language through our database. It's old human, ancient human language. That's impossible. Commander Zix slammed his fist on the table. Humans disappeared 1,000,000 years ago. They're extinct. But the evidence was right in front of them. Those massive warships were human. Ancient human vessels from a time before the modern galaxy existed. Thelvan activated the historical archives. Information flooded the screen. 1,000,000 years ago, humans were different. They were warriors, fighters. They built weapons that could destroy planets. They fought wars across the stars, then one day they vanished. An entire fleet disappeared into dark space. No trace, no message, nothing. The galaxy changed after that. The remaining humans evolved. They became peaceful, gentle. They joined other species in creating the Galactic Council. They forgot how to fight. They forgot how to build weapons, but these humans, these ancient warriors, they remembered. Send a scout ship, Thelvan ordered. We need to see them up close. 3 hours later, the scout ship returned. The pilot's face was white with fear. Ambassador, you need to see this. The pilot showed them the footage. The ancient human ships were incredible. Their hulls were made of materials the Council couldn't identify. Weapons covered every surface. Large cannons, missile pods, energy shields that flickered with unknown power. But it was the condition of the ships that scared everyone. They were damaged, badly damaged. Burn marks, blast holes. Some sections were completely destroyed but somehow repaired with rough metal patches. These ships had fought something. Something terrible. What could do this to them? Commander Zix asked quietly. No one answered. The Council called an emergency meeting. Every species leader arrived within hours. They gathered in the Grand Chamber, hundreds of diplomats from across the galaxy. We must decide, Thelvan announced. Should we welcome these ancient humans, or should we prepare our defenses? They're humans, shouted one diplomat. Modern humans are peaceful. These are their ancestors. These are not modern humans, Commander Zix replied. These are warriors, soldiers from a time of endless war. They only know how to fight. But they're asking to come home, another voice said softly. The debate continued for hours. Fear fought against compassion. Logic battled emotion. Finally, a young human diplomat stood up. Her name was Maya. She represented the modern humans of the Council. I will speak to them, she said quietly. I will go to their ships. They're my people, my ancestors. That could be dangerous, Thelvan warned. Maya smiled sadly. Everything about this is dangerous, Ambassador. The Council voted. Maya would go. She would meet Admiral Chen. She would learn the truth about what happened 1,000,000 years ago. As preparations began, Thelvan stood alone, watching the ancient fleet on the screen. A question burned in his mind, a question that terrified him. What were they running from? And more importantly, did it follow them home? In the darkness beyond the fleet, something moved. Something ancient, something hungry. The screen flickered, and everyone watching felt a cold fear settle into their hearts. The ancient humans had returned. But they had not returned alone. The lost warriors, Maya's small diplomatic ship, moved slowly toward the ancient fleet. Her hands gripped the controls tightly. Through the window, she saw the massive warships floating in space like sleeping giants. "This is Maya Chen, Galactic Council diplomat." She spoke into the radio. "I'm approaching your flagship. Permission to board?" Static crackled. Then that same tired voice replied, "Permission granted, young one. Welcome aboard the Defiant." Maya's ship docked with the largest vessel. The airlock opened with a hiss. She stepped inside and immediately noticed something strange. The air was cold, very cold. The walls were metal, scratched and dented. Emergency lights flickered in the darkness. This ship was old, ancient, but still alive. Footsteps echoed down the corridor. Maya turned and froze. A woman walked toward her. She wore a dark military uniform covered in medals and patches. Her hair was gray, tied back tight. Her face showed lines of age and stress. But her eyes were sharp, alert, dangerous. Behind her stood 6 soldiers. They carried weapons Maya had only seen in history books. Old rifles, combat armor. These people were ready for war. "Always ready, Admiral Chen," Maya whispered. The woman stopped and studied her carefully. "You're human?" "Yes, Admiral. I'm Maya Chen. I share your family name." Admiral Sarah Chen's expression softened slightly. "Chen, that name survived 1,000,000 years." She smiled, but it was a sad smile. "Come, we have much to talk about." They walked through the ship. Maya saw hundreds of soldiers. They looked different from modern humans, stronger, taller. Their bodies were enhanced with old military technology. They moved like predators, always watching, always ready. The ship itself was incredible. Weapon systems lined every corridor. Battle stations stood at every corner. This wasn't just a ship. It was a fortress. A weapon built to kill. They reached the bridge. It was massive. Screens covered the walls, showing star maps and tactical displays. Officers worked at their stations with military precision. Admiral Chen sat in her command chair. She gestured for Maya to sit beside her. "Tell me," the Admiral said quietly. "What happened to Earth? What happened to humanity?" Maya took a deep breath. "Admiral, I don't know how to say this. Earth is gone. It was destroyed in a solar collapse 300,000 years ago. Modern humans live on New Terra now." Admiral Chen closed her eyes. Her jaw tightened. Around the bridge, officers stopped working. Some looked down, others wiped their eyes. "And humanity?" Chen asked, her voice cracking slightly. "What became of us?" "We evolved, Admiral. We became peaceful. We joined the Galactic Council. We live among alien species as friends. We build. We create. We don't fight anymore." Chen opened her eyes. They were wet with tears, but her voice stayed strong. "You don't fight? At all?" "No, Admiral. War is forbidden. The Council maintains peace through diplomacy." Chen stood up and walked to the main window. She stared out at the stars. Her home, her mission, all of it was gone. "Let me tell you our story, Maya," she said quietly. The bridge lights dimmed. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth, old Earth, beautiful and blue. "1,000,000 years ago, something came from dark space," Chen began. "We called them the Devourers. They consumed everything, planets, stars, entire systems. Nothing stopped them. The hologram changed. It showed massive black ships destroying worlds, alien civilizations screaming for help. Then silence. Death. Earth's leaders sent us to stop them. The entire defense fleet, 500 ships, 1,000,000 soldiers. We chased them into the dark expanse." Maya watched the hologram with horror. She saw the human fleet entering the darkness, fighting, dying, but never stopping. "Time moves differently in dark space," Chen continued. "We fought for 50 years, 50 long years of endless battle. We lost hundreds of ships, thousands of friends, but we won. We destroyed their homeworld. We stopped them." The hologram showed a final explosion, a dark planet breaking apart, but we couldn't find our way home. The dark space twisted our navigation. We searched for centuries. We drifted. We repaired our ships with whatever we found. We survived. Chen turned to face Maya. For us, only 50 years passed. But out here, 1,000,000 years went by. We lost everything. Our families, our world, our purpose. Silence filled the bridge. Maya stood and walked to the Admiral. You didn't lose everything. You saved the galaxy. You stopped the Devourers. You're heroes. Chen laughed bitterly. Heroes? We're ghosts, Maya. Relics from a forgotten war. Suddenly an alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Admiral, an officer shouted. I'm detecting massive energy signatures. Behind us, in dark space. Chen's face went pale. No, not possible. What is it? Maya asked, fear rising in her chest. Chen ran to the tactical display. Her hands moved quickly across the controls. What she saw made her freeze. We didn't destroy them all, she whispered. They followed us, the main screen activated. It showed dark space behind the fleet. Something was moving there, something massive. Shapes emerged from the darkness, dozens of them, hundreds. They were the same black ships from the hologram, the Devourers. They had survived, and they had followed the human fleet home, battle stations. Chen roared. All ships prepare for combat! Sirens screamed throughout the fleet. The ancient warships came alive, weapons powered up, shields activated. Maya grabbed Chen's arm. Admiral, the Council needs to know. They need to evacuate. Chen looked at her with hard eyes. Maya, send a message to your Council. Tell them to prepare every defense they have. Tell them war has returned to the galaxy. She turned to her crew. Tell them that humanity remembers how to fight. The ancient fleet turned to face the darkness. 500 damaged warships against an endless enemy. Admiral Chen sat in her command chair. She picked up the fleet-wide communication device. All hands, this is Admiral Chen. We've been fighting for 50 years. We've lost our home. We've lost everything. But we're still here. We're still human. And humans don't run. Humans don't surrender. She paused, looking at her crew. Warriors who had given everything. One more battle, my friends. One last stand. For Earth, for humanity, for everyone who can't fight. Around her, officers saluted. Maya watched in awe and terror. The Devourers moved closer, and the ancient warriors of humanity prepared to fight their final war. But this time, they weren't alone. Maya activated her communicator. Council, this is Maya. We need every ship, every weapon, everything. She looked at Admiral Chen. This is where we see if modern humanity still remembers its warrior blood. The screen showed the enemy. Fleet, massive, endless, unstoppable. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin. The ancient enemy, the Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos. Ambassadors screamed at each other. Some demanded immediate evacuation. Others wanted to negotiate. Fear filled every voice. Silence. Thelvan's voice cut through the noise. We must act now. Maya's message played again on the main screen. Her face was pale but determined. They're called the Devourers. They destroy everything in their path. The ancient human fleet stopped them once, but now they're back. We need help. We need weapons. We need warriors. Commander Zik stood up. We don't have warriors. The Council banned military forces 300 years ago. We only have defense ships. Nothing like those monsters. On the screen, the enemy fleet grew larger. The black ships looked like they were made from darkness itself. They absorbed light. They moved silently through space like predators hunting prey. How many? Someone asked. Our scanners show 300 Devourer ships, the technician reported. And more are coming through from dark space. 300? Thelvan felt his heart sink. The ancient human fleet only has 200 ships left, and they're already damaged. Modern human representatives stood together in the corner. They looked terrified. These peaceful people had never seen real war. Their ancestors had fought, but they had forgotten how. One young human, Marcus, stepped forward. What can we do? We don't know how to fight. Admiral Chen's voice suddenly filled the chamber. She had connected to the Council's communication system. Then you learn, fast. Everyone turned to the screen. Admiral Chen stood on her bridge, surrounded by her crew. Behind her, red alert lights flashed. People of the Galactic Council, I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. I know you're afraid. I know you want peace. But peace doesn't stop the Devourers. Only strength stops them. She pulled up tactical displays. These creatures consume everything. Planets, stars, life itself. They turn it into energy, into fuel. They've been doing it for millions of years across countless galaxies. The display showed worlds being destroyed, civilizations ending in fire and darkness. My fleet fought them for 50 years. We learned their weakness. They're strong, yes, but they can be killed. They can be stopped. How? Thelvan asked. What's their weakness? Chen smiled grimly. Concentrated firepower, coordinated attacks, and most importantly, the willingness to sacrifice everything to protect others. She looked directly at the modern humans in the chamber. Your ancestors were the greatest warriors this galaxy ever saw. That blood still flows in your veins. You just forgot how to use it. Marcus stepped closer to the screen. Teach us, Admiral. Tell us what to do. Chen nodded with approval. Gather every ship you have, every weapon, every person willing to stand between the Devourers and innocent lives. Meet us at Sector 447. We make our stand there. The Council voted quickly. For the first time in 300 years, they authorized military action. Every species would send their defense forces. Every shipyard would be converted to produce weapons. But everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. In space, near the ancient fleet, the Devourers attacked. The first black ship fired. A beam of pure darkness shot across space. It hit one of Chen's vessels, the Valiant. The ship's shields held for 3 seconds. Then they collapsed. The beam cut through the hull like paper. Valiant is hit. An officer shouted, "Hull breach on all decks!" "Return fire," Chen commanded. "All batteries target that lead ship." The ancient human weapons roared to life. Missiles streaked through space. Energy cannons fired beams of blue light. Railguns launched metal slugs at incredible speeds. The Devourer ship's shields absorbed most of the damage. But not all. Explosions rippled across its dark hull. "It's working," Maya watched from the bridge. "They can be hurt." "Yes," Chen replied. "But look, the damaged Devourer ship retreated. 2 more took its place, then 4, then 10. They're using swarm tactics," Chen's tactical officer reported. "For every one we damage, 3 more attack." Chen's face hardened. "All ships, Formation Delta 7, we're not trying to win this fight. We're buying time for the Council forces to arrive." The ancient fleet moved into a defensive wall. 200 warships side by side, their weapons pointed at the approaching darkness. The Devourers charged. Space exploded with light and fire. Weapons from both sides filled the void with death. Ancient human ships fired continuously. Their old weapon systems screamed with strain. Some cannons overheated and exploded, but the crews kept fighting. The Devourer beams cut through space. One beam hit the Courage. The ship broke in half. 500 ancient warriors died in seconds. Courage is gone. Someone shouted. Chen's jaw tightened. "Keep firing!" "Don't stop." Another ship fell. Then another. The ancient fleet was dying. These warriors who had survived for 1,000,000 years were finally meeting their end. Maya watched the battle with tears streaming down her face. "They're losing. They can't hold." Chen stood from her chair. She walked to the main window and placed her hand on the glass. "We don't need to win," she said quietly. "We just need to last long enough." In the Council territory, something incredible was happening. Modern humans across the galaxy heard the call. They heard their ancestors' voice. They heard Admiral Chen's challenge. And something ancient woke inside them. In shipyards, humans rushed to old storage facilities. They opened doors that hadn't been opened in centuries. Inside, they found old weapons, ancient armor, technology from the warrior days. Marcus stood in one such facility on New Terra. Around him, thousands of young humans gathered. They were scared, confused, but determined. "Our great-great-great-grandparents fought for us," Marcus said, his voice shaking but strong. "Now it's our turn to fight for others." He picked up an old rifle from the storage rack. It felt heavy, unfamiliar, but right. "Who's with me?" Every hand raised. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Peaceful humans becoming warriors. Scientists learning to aim weapons. Teachers learning tactical formations. Artists learning to pilot fighter ships. They didn't know how to fight. But they would learn because they were human. And humans protected those who couldn't protect themselves. 3 hours later, the reinforcements arrived. Admiral Chen's fleet was down to 150 ships. They were surrounded. running out of ammunition, running out of time. Then the scanners lit up. "Admiral," the tactical officer shouted with joy. Multiple jump signatures. "Incoming ships!" Through the darkness they came. Thousands of ships. Council defense forces from every species. And among them, flying ancient human war flags, came the modern humans. Their ships were old. Their weapons were outdated. Their pilots were inexperienced, but they came anyway. Marcus's voice crackled over the radio. "Admiral Chen, this is Marcus Chen and the new Terra Volunteer Fleet. We're here to fight." Chen's eyes filled with tears. She smiled for the first time in 50 years. "Welcome to the war, Marcus. Welcome home." The combined fleet numbered 5,000 ships. Against 300 devourers, they finally had a chance. Chen opened fleet-wide communications. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen. I'm sending you our tactical data, our weapons configurations, everything we learned in 50 years of fighting these monsters." She paused, looking at her crew, looking at the new fleet. "We're going to teach you how humanity fights, how we win, how we survive." She raised her fist. "For Earth, for the galaxy, for everyone who can't fight for themselves." 5,000 voices answered as one. "For humanity." The fleet charged forward, ancient warriors and new volunteers side by side. The devourers met them with darkness and death. The real battle had begun, the battle that would decide the fate of the entire galaxy. And in the darkness, more devourer ships emerged. Hundreds more, thousands more. This wasn't just a battle. This was the war to end all wars. The final stand. The battle raged for 3 days and 3 nights. Space burned with fire and light. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Ships on both sides fell like rain. The void filled with debris and the dead. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiant. She hadn't slept in 70 hours. Her uniform was stained with blood and sweat, but her eyes remained sharp, focused. "Status report," she barked. "We've lost 800 ships," her tactical officer replied, his voice hoarse. "The devourers have lost 150. But more keep coming. They're pouring through from dark space." Chen looked at the tactical display. The numbers were bad, very bad. For every devourer they destroyed, 2 more appeared. "The enemy was endless, Admiral," Maya said quietly beside her. "We can't win this." "There are too many," Chen nodded slowly. "I know. Then why do we keep fighting?" Chen turned to look at her. "Because someone has to. Because if we run, they'll chase us. They'll destroy every planet, every civilization, everything." She pointed at the screen showing the council worlds behind them. Billions of people live there, children, families, people who just want to live in peace. We're all that stands between them and extinction. An alarm blared. Another ship exploded on the screen. The Liberty, one of the oldest ships in the ancient fleet. "That was Captain Rodriguez," someone whispered. "She survived 50 years of war." Chen closed her eyes briefly. Another friend gone. Another warrior who would never see peace. Marcus's voice crackled over the radio. "Admiral Chen, our ammunition is at 15%. What do we do?" Chen activated fleet-wide communications. "All ships, switch to energy weapons only. Conserve missile stocks for critical targets. Titan formation. We fight smarter, not harder." But even as she gave orders, Chen knew the truth. They were losing. Slowly, steadily, inevitably. On the Devourer flagship, deep in the enemy formation, something watched the battle. It was the Devourer hive mind, the intelligence that controlled all the black ships. It felt satisfaction. These humans fought well, better than any species in a million years. But they would fall. They always fell. The hive mind sent a signal. More ships emerged from dark space. 500 fresh Devourer vessels, undamaged, fully armed. On the Defiant, sensors detected the new arrivals. "Admiral," the tactical officer's voice broke. 500 more enemy ships. "They're surrounding us." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. It was over. Commander Zix's face appeared on the screen. His ship was heavily damaged, smoke filling his bridge. "Admiral Chen, the Council is ordering a retreat. We've done all we can. We must save what's left of our forces." Chen stared at the screen. She looked at her crew. These warriors who had followed her for 50 years, who had given everything. "No," she said quietly. "What?" Zix asked. "No retreat," Chen said louder. We hold the line. If we retreat, they'll reach the Council worlds in hours. Millions will die. But Admiral, we'll all die if we stay. Chen smiled sadly. Then we die with honor. We die protecting others. That's what warriors do, Commander. She turned to her crew. Anyone who wants to leave, go now. Take the escape pods. I won't judge you. You've fought enough. Not a single person moved. Her tactical officer spoke up. Admiral, we've been with you for 50 years. We'll be with you until the end. Around the bridge, every officer nodded. They knew they were going to die, but they would die as humans, as warriors, as heroes. Chen's eyes filled with tears. Then let's make this last stand count. She opened communications to the entire fleet, to the ancient warriors, to the modern volunteers, to every species fighting beside them. All ships, this is Admiral Chen. I won't lie to you. We're going to lose this battle. There are too many enemies. We're out of ammunition, out of time. She paused, letting that sink in. But we can still win the war. On screens across 5,000 ships, confused faces looked up. The Devourers are pouring all their forces through that dark space portal. Every ship they have is here fighting us. That means their rear is undefended. Chen pulled up a tactical map. It showed the portal and something behind it. Deep in dark space. A massive structure, that's their nexus, their command center, where the hive mind lives. If we destroy it, the entire Devourer fleet shuts down. Marcus understood immediately. You want to go through the portal? Into dark space. Not we, Chen corrected. Me, the Defiant, one ship. One last mission. That's suicide, Maya shouted. You'll never survive. I know, Chen said calmly. But one ship can slip through while they're busy here. One ship can reach the Nexus. One ship can end this war. She looked at her crew. The Defiant has a quantum destabilizer. It's an old Earth weapon, forbidden technology. If I detonate it inside the Nexus, the explosion will collapse the entire dark space dimension. The Devourers will be destroyed, all of them. And you'll be destroyed too, Maya whispered. Chen nodded. A small price to pay for the galaxy. Commander Zik spoke up. Admiral, the fleet will buy you time. We'll keep the Devourers busy. You get to that Nexus, Chen smiled. Thank you, Commander. It's been an honor, she turned to Maya. Take a shuttle. Return to the Council. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity remembered how to fight. But more importantly, tell them we remembered why we fight. Maya hugged Chen tightly. I'll tell everyone. You'll be heroes. All of you. We're not heroes, Chen said softly. We're just people doing what's necessary. Maya left the Defiant. Her shuttle pulled away. She watched through the window as the ancient warship turned toward the dark space portal. Chen sat in her command chair one last time.